If you were listening to last week's episode, we got to hear about Grace's incredible journey from Paris to dentistry and how her multicultural background has shaped her today as she is a mom of a beautiful daughter and also the mother of Karis Orthodontics. And so today we're going to dive deeper into what inspired her to start this private practice, how she's balancing it all, weaving all these identities that we've talked about in last week's episode. So I'm excited to continue the conversation with you. And I was just telling Grace when we were off air for 1 second that I've already had so much respect for Grace, just like even when we were talking and like you said, you've been thinking about this for about a year now and you would, share. And I'm like, oh, wow, that sounds really difficult. And it sounds like it's going to take at least like a handful of years, and then I'm like, what? You already broke ground? You're already launching? And like during like the first year of like your daughter, and she is like thriving, like I think it's really what you talked about with that, even like the legacy your parents set for you guys and your family and how you're leading with just like so much love in all these aspects. And so I'm really excited because I feel like Karis Orthodontics is a private practice, but it also has so much like depth, and I want to kind of get to that heart today. And so, Grace, what inspired you? All that to say, I have so much more respect for you after hearing your story is the end of that comment. But yeah, welcome back.
Yes. I'm so excited to share what Karis, stands for, represents for me, and what I want to do, but mostly what I want to let God do through this. But it's always been in my mind since I was a dentist that, okay, one day I have to think about what I really want to do. Do I want to open my own practice? Do I want to keep working for someone else? Do I want to go the academic route, work at a university? So many choices. But what was the most attractive to me was my own practice. For very concrete reasons, it will be because I'm my own boss. I get to choose when I open the practice, what treatment I do, what kind of patients I want to see, get to manage my schedule. So I love that, the idea behind that. But then there was a bit of a shift of why and how I was going to do this when I became a mom. And
because this dream was started in France.
Yes,
when you
even
started
in France,
dentistry.
when I was a dentist, I was thinking, I think one day I would love to have my practice. I would love to see what a business owner life is.
So now you're a mom. What changed about
so much? So much, yeah. So different things. First of all, experiencing the struggles that women go through. I experienced it as a doctor. I saw my staff members going through it. I saw other friends going through it. I just wanted a place, and especially a workplace, that was for myself, also for the people who worked with me, that really honored the women, that really cared for them in a genuine way. So yeah, a space where I would accommodate all this. I want to make sure even the patients feel comfortable bringing the kids or don't feel like they're annoying me by having a baby cry or something like that. Like, just wanted to be, I don't want to say refuge because, I'm not the only one doing this and having this idea, but just a comfortable place, a welcoming place for families and women in general.
Yeah. And I mean, right, you aren't the only one doing this, but you are doing this with a very specific heart for, what you just shared. And so I think that is so powerful that you've already had this dream before, but now there's such a deeply rooted purpose behind it too. So I love hearing that, and like, I'm like, oh man, I wish my kids, but like, I'm excited for the day I get to like be there with patients.
I'm so honored. And another very big reason is spiritual. So my work ethic and just my life ethics, I'd say, in general, really stems from God, my faith, what I learned from the Word. Really try to apply that in my everyday life. I feel like in my workplace, I've also seen, heard, experienced things that should not happen in healthcare, especially when you're caring for patients and their health. So I wanted to bring also a place where we 100% committed to bring the best care we can to patients, whether it's through service, but also treatment, relationships, just everything. So I wanted a place where I could just do things the way I said. And the big picture is really honoring God through this, because I want to show people that all this is inspired by God.
Yeah, I can feel it too. So like, it's like, I feel like whether you share specifically or even just like through the spirit you carry, like it's so evident that like overflows. So I hope you continue, to like keep that alignment, because I'm sure as, it gets rough, like it's easy to lose sight, and so starting a business from scratch is not easy. And I feel like I know so many like friends who have started like a small businesses, but they're also like all just remote, or like you have a building, you have to hire staff, you have to treat, like I'm just like, what does that even mean? Because like for me it's like, oh yeah, like I hear different stories, but like your scale, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know. And so I feel like once again a loaded question, but like what has this journey been like? Because there's physical parts in play too, and like what has been the hardest part about this journey so far? What have you found that you've enjoyed a lot, from this process so far?
The hardest part I felt was getting started, like actually putting the first stone, deciding to do it and doing it, the action of it. And that's funny that you're saying, like, you look at my business as something bigger, but when I was in that step of deciding whether or not I should move forward, I was looking up to you or all these other, business women that were doing their own business, being moms and juggling so many things. That was really inspiring. Actually, I really looked up to you, all the other women that were on the podcast also a year ago, like Sarah, Gloria, Jess.
Oh yeah. Wow,
that podcast
that's
was
so
inspiring.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
But the first stone was hard, and then once the first stone is laid, the rest kind of come. Like you know what's the next step, or like somebody tells you what's the next step. But finding the courage to start the venture. I think especially for me, being such a huge financial investment, that was scary, because I wanted to, I wanted to make sure my family was going to be fine. Yes. And then I'd say I didn't realize how important networking or just building relationships throughout the process was, whether it's to find mentors, inspiring people, or just people who would partner with you to just make your practice come to life the way you want, in the right way. Just the people that are involved in the process are just so important.
And you found that to be the more enjoyable, or like hard? That's hard. Because I feel like you're good. I feel like you're good at that. Like networking or sharing. The moment it comes to, I guess like we're all just noobs in terms of your field. But when like the word tooth is in a conversation, I know, and it's so like exciting to hear. Like it's a topic I would care less about in like my regular life, because I also never like had braces, and not that that's the only thing, but like that's what comes to my mind when I put those topics together. But it's like, oh, tell me more. Like, it's like really cool. So I'm assuming when you put all these passionate, nerdy orthodontists together, it's just like, talk about it for hours. But I would assume the networking part is like, even if it's fun, it's draining, and you have to come back home to your family too.
But definitely, I think enjoying, going back to your question. No, because I also got lost. What I enjoyed is the relationships I built, because so many good people, and I really felt that God sent my way to help me. Just wonderful people I've met along the way, and being able to connect with mentors professionally, but also people who are businesswomen and people of faith too. People that are moms. Just so many different layers of identities that you can put in one person. And then I think the creative process behind Karis. I didn't expect this to be so fun.
I feel like you're killing it. Those arches.
Like from the interior design, so anything that's visual, interior design, to the social media page, the branding, the marketing, all that is really fun. I however, there's a limit to how much I can do. I feel my limits. So I have someone helping me right now.
Oh, good.
Who's so good at what she does. So, I know when to look for help.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That was going to be a question, right? Because you can only do so much. So I'm glad you're like able to find that and where you need the help, or not just help, but like also the areas where even if you are good at it, you can still offload it, you know? Because I think it's only like sometimes we're like, if I'm bad, then I'll do it, but I can do all the other things. And so I love that advice you're kind of like sharing right now on that end. Let's talk Enneagram. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys knew, but Grace, Dr. Lee is an Enneagram type 7. Yes. And I think at first I was not sure yet, but I see it so much. Like, I think, okay, so let me give you a little description. The enthusiast, the adventurer, you know, like the life of the party, known for energy, adaptability, and the ability to see exciting new possibilities. I see that like in all the areas of your story, but I wrote it here, like, so at work, because we're talking about in the workplace today, 7s are visionaries who thrive in fast-paced, creative environments, bringing fresh ideas and a fun, dynamic culture. You said all these words throughout our conversation, like dynamic, I was like, oh yes, correct, you know? You are quick to learn, you think outside the box, and you love to experiment. Some challenges though can come with staying focused and following through. So how do you channel your adventurous big picture thinking with balancing structure and discipline? And I think like that was what you shared. What was hard was following through with this desire you wanted. And now that you have chosen the hard part of following through, like, not that the rest is easy in a, you know, it's easy in this, it's enjoyable because you have this Enneagram 7 in you. I feel like, how do you feel as I share that description?
Yeah, it resonates with me.
I feel like even the mindset of how you've talked through the struggles from your upbringing, or like the dentist, like all these things, like I hear this, oh, what's this new possibility through that? Or like, what's this opportunity that's been given to me? And I think like, that's been so good to hear and like help me really understand like the core of you. Yeah.
You know, when we talk about Enneagram with our friends, everybody is like super, I don't know, like charismatic Enneagrams numbers. And I was almost, besides Gina, I think the two of us are 7s. And I always thought, that sounds like the one who just want to play all the time. Like,
it does.
So I was always like, what's the good thing about being a 7? But the way, you describe it, I think I see myself.
Yeah, because I think like 7s, that's their stereotype, right? Or like just like from surface level view. But especially as I like study the Enneagram, like 7s have so much hidden depth that just needs to come out. And then like when you see, you're always like, whoa, like you're not just fun, but you're also like really intelligent, or, you know, like really excellent, you know? And so like, I think that shows when you're also walking in your health, right? Because like at average, 7s have fun, and that's great, and that's really fun to be around. But like at best, like there's all these things, and when you like talk about Karis and like the excellence behind that too, like that, I see that in you, you know. And so like I think that's a good way for us to debunk what 7 stereotypes are versus, you know, like you and Gina, amazing people, amazing women. Yeah. Let me continue. But
definitely when you were talking about, you know, maybe difficulty to stay focused. I see that in myself too.
Yeah. I mean, you have so many things.
Yeah, wanting to do so many things, but I end up, you know, not following through with one thing, and I struggle with not being that person who's reliable, whether it's for my friends or my family or for whoever's working with me. I'm just like super trying to stay conscious of that and prevent that from happening. But that's something, even I think Michael would agree.
Yeah, because even if like at work it's one way, it can project out in another bucket that's important for us. So, Michael's like listening.
He's like nodding.
Okay, so then I feel like I bring it back to the vision of Karis a lot, of like at least that one liner that I saw. So like, what would you want your practice to be in being set apart from others? Or I think you've shared a lot through the foundation of faith as well, but like what would an experience look like for someone coming into Karis for you?
I like that.
Experience.
Yes. Definitely, I always say I would like Karis to be a projection of my personality. Not that I think I'm like wonderful or something like that. But
You are, but yeah.
just someone, I see myself as, just pretty welcoming. So
yeah.
I want the practice to be that welcoming, warm to people. When they come and seek treatment from me, they know that there's no other agenda than me wanting the best for them, wanting to do the best treatments for them, something that fits the best their lifestyle, just be super understanding, transparent too, with whether it's, fees or, so many things goes in building that trust. But I want them to feel like, okay, this doctor care about me.
Yeah.
This doctor care about my child.
Yeah.
They want to work with me. Like we really doing this together, going through this treatment together. Especially orthodontics, treatment can last up to 2-3 years. So you really see your patients over a long period of time. You see kids, teenagers become adults. It's pretty cool. But overall, I want patients' well-being. I want them to bring the best out of me, but my skills too.
I love that. It made me think of not a bad orthodontist. But Matt, how he has like long teeth or
you want to expose your husband?
With Matt, when he was having his braces, I don't know if I'm butchering this story, but the rubber band got stuck in his gum. So his teeth were being pulled down the whole time. And then when they went back and looked, they saw that and had to take it out and then like readjust it or something. But those were like his peak, like, I don't think he was bullied, but like he had like really long two front teeth. I don't know if that was from the braces, but something like that. Anyways, I don't know if that makes it.
I always say
this is a separate story. My husband Matt from 1990s when he was
there are some things that can happen, like if something snaps or doesn't go as planned. It can go off, but fortunately, most of what we do in orthodontics is reversible.
Like
you can always kind of put it back and so on. But that's a really good story to tell people that, your smile is so much is part of what gives you confidence.
Yes.
Part of how people perceive you, the first impression, there's just so many things.
Yes.
So it does matter.
Yeah, it does.
It does matter.
Wow. But I think even as you were sharing, it's like, I wish I had a braces so I could go through, because I'm such a relational person, right? So it's like, I would want this, like, the experience you're kind of creating is like this, like, stronger relationship even with the healthcare provider, right? That, like, a regular, annual check-in is so different. And so I love that, and I hope that is what, and I know that is what they will experience when they enter Karis. Okay, so then as a first-time mom launching this business, have you, this is also but like I was gonna say how are you balancing it, but then I'm like, are you even struggling with balancing it? I feel like your mindset is really healthy, which you shared in last episode of how you approach the balance in general. But sometimes when it's heavier for one spouse, even the other spouse will have to pick up stuff. Like overall, for people like that have business ideas, but they're like, oh, not yet for me, or I can't because it would never happen. Like, what kind of balance has that look like for you in terms of the family side of it?
So, I really want to say this, that through every like positive good thing I say, it comes out from a struggle I had, something very hard I had to overcome and then grew out of. And my conclusion is, it was for good. But in terms of family dynamics, so we are just right now, I think, going through it where I'm becoming so busy that I'm running out of time for anything, everything. So Michael is a huge part of what keeps me going, because he's the other spouse, the other parent of my daughter, who's gonna help in the house, even with my business. So it's so important that he's understanding, he's supportive of this. And he knows that, for a time being, I might have to take on more than I used to, or more than her. So really grateful for that. There was definitely a time where we had our share of arguments, struggles, because of that,
Yeah.
you know, new dynamic, like new transition phase that we're having. And especially when, you know, Karis will be launched, you'll be also new. So we're going to have to figure out how that works. I'm just reminded of a time I got really upset because I heard that one of my colleagues was going around saying, oh, Grace, so lucky she can open her own practice because of her husband. And she was talking on the financial point of view that because they were double income. Oh, I don't know exactly what she meant, but I knew that was financially she was talking about that. And that got me upset because I was like, no, I would have done this even if it wasn't my husband, or even if, you know, it's me, it's about me and something. But then looking back, I'm like, no, yeah, that's true. I can do this because of Michael. Thanks to Michael, because he's here to support me. And even though, whether it's financially, whether it's with the family, whether it's supporting me emotionally, morally, just everything. That's
like, there's like so many layers to that scenario you've shared, because one, I feel your woman heart of like, I would have done this on my own, you know, and like that part doesn't, like, don't take that away, you know. But then I feel like even for me, sometimes I think that in my own situations, and now I'm fine, like, because of Matt and where he is, I get to do certain things where it's like, but in my head, I'm like, well, it's not like I chose to that, you know, like, you know, like there's all these like thoughts. And so I think that's such a good perspective shift, just so that also like it's a team effort, even though it's like you had this dream, you know, but it is like I could see myself fighting so many different internal feelings, and then like you say, like at the end it's like the gratitude overflows in the excellence, or something you said earlier, right? I feel like your shift in your heart to just be grateful for what it is in this situation, even if in another situation it could be different, right? Like that's so mature and like something I feel like a lot of like moms have to kind of, or like working moms or moms that have these dreams, you know, with like this balance have to, you know, face someday. So I think this perspective is really helpful.
Definitely knowing, you know, yourself, your spouse, but also being on the same page, so important. I think this is really the key. I also went through my own like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Stayed at home for a month and then realized, okay, I think I need to get out. Started a part-time job, and then through the part-time job, I finally decided it's time to open Karis. So I went through my own like exploration and trying to know what
works for you.
What works for me, especially.
And I think that's good to give yourself a little bit of time to do that, right? Rather than just like staying on course.
Because a lot of, I think, women, and me included, thought, okay, there's a certain way you should be, you should do as a mom, and it's not about what society dictates, but it's really about what you want for yourself and what you need.
That, amen. I feel like that's such a simple statement, but like it really is. I'm curious, like things like in terms of, since yours is so like service based, what do you feel when it's like, I have to hire people? Like, I don't know. I'm just like curious of that, because I don't think I would ever really experience that. But you have to hire people, and people for different things, you know, like marketing stuff. And then there's like people that need to be at the front, but like that kind of have to know what they're doing.
So, you know? Different positions to be filled in the practice, definitely.
I'm talking like I know what those are.
No, but you actually knew very well.
Hygiene, something.
And this is all new for me. So what I did was I hired an HR company to help me with anything that's compliance, with compliance, with I think that was like paperwork admin, like an employee manual. So things that I was not an expert in, delegate. Now, who I want to hire, I think I have an idea, but who I'm going to end up hiring, this is like up to the candidates. And there's a bit of a shortage right now in the dental industry, especially for dental assistants, dental front desk, treatment coordinators, and so on. So I've heard it's been harder and harder to hire, but also to maintain and keep employees in your practice. Well, I can share about my first, I guess, employee because I have one.
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
And it happened to be also just like God like putting her in my in my way. So it was through a sales sister that I was introduced to her. And then as we were talking, she really had all the skills I was looking for that first hire I needed. And then we also aligned spiritually, but yeah, also, yeah, that in that drive to make something more out of just a job, a practice, a workplace.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I'm again like I feel so blessed
Yeah.
because I didn't even look for it,
Yeah.
and then she just came in and helped me, and she's so good at what she does. So I'm like, okay, is it gonna be the same for every hire? I would
that'd be
love
so
to.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know I'm prepping to hire my second employee soon. So the only thing I can really do is prep as much as possible, screen as much as possible, and pray as much as possible.
Oh, I love that. Oh, wow. That's so exciting. I feel like, I don't know, I'm just like, that's so cool. Like, that's the end of my observation from that. I would also be curious, right? Like for whether it's in the business realm or motherhood or any and all and in between, like, would there be any advice or like nuggets of wisdom you would want to share from this part of your journey so far?
It's kind of cliche, but resilience, grit really matters, makes a difference. I remember reading an article in a book. I don't know if you know Angela Duckworth. So she basically studied what's the key component to success in young kids, or just in people in general, and she came up with grit. That grit actually takes you further than just being smart or creative and so on. I feel like, and I didn't share also, but I had also my own failures. I had my struggles and so on. But in those moments when you pick yourself back up, you keep moving forward, you try again, you knock on doors, that's when things happen and when you can move forward. Yeah. So, yeah, I always thought, oh, this is so cliche. Why do people keep repeating that? But now that I've experienced and lived it with my own life, I can say, oh, this is true.
Yeah. And I think when I think of the word like grit, you're like, but like, because that's the kind of energy you need to go through it. It doesn't mean the person looks like that, but I just like, you're such an eloquent gritter, like that's why, like, it's like, if that word doesn't come up first, resilience, grit, if it didn't come up, it's only because you carry yourself so well, but I think like the grit you carry is there, and so it's like really cool to just get to hear more, and like even if like you don't need to share all the failures or struggles, like I can see how the grit mindset has really shaped from that. And like gratitude, sometimes people can think that's like, oh, the easy way out, but like for you it's like, wow, you really had to face this struggle or this transition or something, and then you can choose the hard thing of gratitude too. And I don't know, I hear that in our conversation. So like, I'm very inspired.
Well,
but yeah. So I really do hope, like, for those that, have these dreams, and like whether it's a season that came the way or even a challenge, like maybe being fired, or you resonate with the story that Grace shared, like I hope the encouragement is, if it's now, or like if in prayer, or if in whatever medium you choose, like you feel that peace to move forward, like I would encourage that, and make sure you got grit though. So this is my question I like to ask. If you could describe Karis Orthodontics as a fruit, what would that be and why?
So I had to ask ChatGPT because
ChatGPT probably knows so much about your business too, right?
And I really like the response it gave me. So it gave me a pear.
Oh, okay.
A pear because it's approachable in a way that is pretty close to an apple. An apple, it's common.
Yes.
Everybody eats apple. Everybody likes apple. But it's elegant. It's a little bit more of an elegant fruit. It's not overly sweet, so it's well balanced. It tied it with just being warm, a welcoming environment, not too extreme in like, oh, we like have high energy or like low energy. I'm just saying that's what they meant. It's a healthy fruit. It grows out of a tree, so it grows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love all this.
Unique yet familiar.
Yeah,
So,
unique yet I
liked
like
it.
that. It's like dentist, orthodontist.
Yeah.
When I think about like the Korean pear, it's such a like a chong kind of feeling. So if you just say pear, you can think of all these different types of pears out there. But you know, like when you share the Korean pear, it's like for like a special reason,
like a family gathering,
or family.
like,
it's like intimate,
Yeah.
but fun, because like it's like that's like yay, like pear.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like I also am getting that feeling, because I feel like that with you and like with this practice, like there's this like intimacy too, that like it's not like forced, but it just like comes with the environment. So I love the pear. Wow. Okay. And I do want to ask you, since we have like the privilege of having a Korean French person in this room, can you share maybe like a Korean or French habit you bring? But also, any like fun facts of like, wow, just like coming to America, I didn't know this was gonna, whoa. Because I remember,
think of one right away.
yeah. I remember we were at like a tea party 2 years ago, like the church women's tea, and you were like sharing some things, and I was like, oh, so interesting, you know?
Yeah.
And so
I remember we were talking about the
yeah.
differences between what I saw in US culture,
Yes.
like social like cues. And
Yes.
But for habits, Korean habits, take your shoes off and wear slippers in the house. That's like that stick with me. And in Korean, I think you can relate to that.
Yeah.
For French habits, it's my breakfast. It's like food related. But I'm always looking for bread and a hot black coffee. It's like my ideal breakfast that makes me so happy. I'm always on the look for a good bread that's affordable, because here in the US it's pretty pricey.
Wow. What are some like? How do you filter good bread? That's a whole nother.
Yeah, it has to be. So first of all, no sugar, because in a lot of the US bread,
It's so much sugar.
have sugar.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
So no sugar. Outside has to be crispy, and inside has to be soft and fluffy.
Simple.
Taste, simple.
Okay.
Like simple ingredients, simple taste.
Okay.
But the texture matters.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I am not a breakfast person, but
You're missing out.
I know I am. I mean, coffee. Cold coffee. How is it now? Because as a mom, it's not always hot. You just drink it whenever.
Yeah. So I started using
that
thermos,
time.
because it needs to stay warm.
Yeah. Okay, well, any last words? Where can we find you on your journey as you launch soon?
Yeah, the practice will be situated off 121 State Highway 121, but you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, a website. You can call us, text us. Yeah, you can visit us in person. It's even better.
All at, even better. Oh, look at that natural plug. All at Karis with a K, right? Karis Orthodontics. And we'll put that on there as well. And the location is so ideal, in my opinion. I feel like that neighborhood or that like area is popping with like stuff for young adults, also like kids. Yeah, like I'm always there for like the kids stuff that's around there. So even that kind of provision of location is amazing. So that's exciting. Yeah. Well, I had so much fun, Grace.
Me too. Thank you so much for hosting me.
And thank you for saying yes. I'm always like hoping people do say yes, because I'm so truly like curious in your journeys, and I feel like offline I'm gonna ask you so many more questions. But yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the perspective you brought and the joy. That's not like in a happy, it's this really like deep joy is what I feel from you. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode with Grace. And if you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with a friend who might need an orthodontist soon. Thank you for listening to another episode of Color Commentary. Bye.